Estamos aqui esperando a qualquer momento o Tom Cruise chegar e espero muito que ele chegue de helicóptero, que seria maravilhoso. We saw you filming inside the jet, and we could feel with your acting and with the cameras and the sound effects, we could feel the weight, the speed, the force of gravity. How was the real feeling for you inside of the aircraft?
Yeah, you feel that level of intensity. I remember, even the first Top Gun, part of the things that I made it my contract that I had to fly in the F-14. You got to film me in the F-14. And it was one thing that I always felt that we could delve into more for an audience and give them that experience. Technology wasn't there. I mean, I'm a pilot. I've wanted to make movies and fly airplanes since I was 4 years old. I always wanted the audience, when people are talking about cheese or they're talking about what it's like to fly these aircraft, I wanted to give that experience to an audience and have them see what these men and women do in flying these. So it was very intense, but fun. I enjoyed it.
How does it feel to be part of, a classic, being part of the sequel of one of the very famous 80s movies,
Well, it's really exciting. I hope that fans will love this one as much as they love the original. I know that it's a very beloved film.
Have you felt any pressure, like if you're trying to replace the original character or something?
No, because Penny Benjamin is mentioned in the original movie. Maverick actually had dated her before Charlie ever shows up. I love what Kelly McGillis did in that movie. That their relationship was great. Penny and Pete have a different relationship for sure.
Felt any pressure when you have to, you're playing the character of the son of Goose?
I think they're pretty big. It's a pretty big shadow to walk in, but I just thought the writers did such a great job with this character that I felt really protected too, because if Tom's a part of something, the quality is going to be there.
How was your feeling when you played the piano at the bar and the Balls of Fire scene?
I love that song. I'm just happy to have that as like a little party trick now, because I really think it's a pretty kick-ass song.
It is a pretty kick-ass song. What's your, the favorite thing about, being part of the sequel?
Man, look at all this. I think absolutely my favorite thing is that, we finally get to show it to the fans. One thing that Tom always says, that everything we do for the fans. Every move we make in this movie is to make sure that when they spend their hard-earned money, that we've earned it and that we're worth it. And so I'm so excited to see people here and excited to see what we've done, because I think this is going to be the thrill ride of the summer.
And what about the classic? What's your favorite part from the classic movie?
Oh man, that's a great question. My favorite part is probably the inversion scene where they go cockpit to cockpit upside down, look up. I've never seen that in a movie before, but you know what? What you're going to see in Top Gun Maverick, the aerial battles, are things you've never seen before either. So I think we've raised the bar.
What was the feeling when you got invited to be part of the sequel of Top Gun?
It was unbelievable. I was scared, I was excited, I was nervous, everything all at once. And then when we found out that we were actually going to be on the F-18s, that's when I was like, okay, this is insane. And then when we saw the training schedule, we're like, how is this even going to be a thing that is possible to do? How are we going to even, the idea of growth doesn't really hit you until you start doing it and you start seeing where you started to where you're headed. And Tom put such an intricate training schedule for us based on what he's known that we require. So yeah, man, it's been an unbelievable experience of feeling the sensation of actual growth by how much G's you're able to tolerate. So when we were like, all right, today was 2 G's, that's great, I've never done that in my life. 3 G's, 4 G's, then we sustained 5 G's for 30 seconds, 6 G's, 7 G's, and then doing 15 8G pops. When we got to that, we were like, okay, we've definitely grown. And that sensation was the sensation of getting that call, man.
I'm 23 years old, and first time when I watched the Top Gun Classic, I felt a little lost. It actually took me about 3 or 2 times to understand why were the people love this movie. And what's your feeling about the classic movie, the classic Top Gun?
Watching the first one, I just fell in love with it. I think it was incredible. I really liked it. I've seen it a couple of times now, so it's one of my favorites.
And what was the feeling of being part of the sequel? Did you feel any pressure or any pride as well when you got invited?
I think there's a little pressure with any role that you do. Yeah, pride, working with some of the best of the best. Not only in the industry, but just kind human beings. Yeah, it was exciting and a little intimidating, but amazing.
How was the feeling, where you're sitting at your desk and then you see Maverick entering, and he's teaching you class.
Oh man, that was surreal. I mean, the scene before that, we did something to Maverick, right? And to finally meet him in person, it was like, oh, so it was a real reaction of we did something bad to him, and then I actually seen him in real life, and I was like, oh, what the beep.
It must be really awkward for your character.
It was very awkward for my character and for me. I tried not to. I think I gave up like a little.
Everyone here is the best there is. Who the hell are they going to get to teach us?
You know, how does it feel to be a character that's supposed to put... How does it feel to be a character that, you know, has to put a limit on Maverick?
Well, it's a challenge. He is not one to subscribe to limits very often, and I think we both learn a little something from each other about that.
Yeah, I feel like Maverick, from the first movie to the second, he's still like bold, but he learned his lessons from the first movie. He learned.
Well, he grew up. He got older. He grew up. You know, I mean, that's the wonderful part of this. As you grow up, things change, and relationships with ideas like responsibility and duty and service and friendship and loyalty, all of those things change as you get older. And I think Maverick's learned some lessons.
Yeah, he got wiser. Well, thank you so much. Pleasure was all mine. Well, yeah, obrigado.
Today we'll start with what you only think you know.
First of all, I love Hangman characters. He represents, you know, there's a rivalry between, you know, Rooster and Hangman. And do you think that's like some sort of mirror between Iceman and Maverick's, you know, rivalship?
Yeah, that was a very hallowed ground that I was very nervous about retreading on. So I tried to separate Rooster and Hangman from Ice and Mav as much as possible, but there's always going to be those comparisons. It's a competition movie. It's a sports movie at the end of the day, and it's there's a lot of ego, and I think there's a lot of ego in this movie as well.
How was the feeling, you know, being inside of the aircraft, and when we were recording? During the movie, I could see, you know, the camera moving and sound effects, and feel, you know, get a feeling of what you were going through, what your pilot were facing, you know, the speed, the weight of gravity.
That's the thing is, you know, Tom did not want to shoot this on a green screen. He didn't want any visual effects. He wanted us to shoot it practically because if we're feeling pain, if we're feeling G's, the audience is feeling G's. And I think that's what makes this movie really different and special is that this is all about the audience. We put our bodies on the line in order to entertain audiences around the world, and I think we hit that mark. It wasn't always comfortable, but it was effective.
It was worth it.
Yeah, I agree.
It was insane. I mean, the power that it's like riding on a dragon or a rocket ship when you're inside of an F-18. And, you know, initially you don't feel it when you're just going straight. It's like being in a car. You don't know how fast you're really going. But when my pilot started dogfighting with like 2 other jets, you feel the power. And it's like you're getting into a car wreck because you just, you know, fighting the G's and stuff. So after every flight, you were toasted.
It was tough. I mean, there's moments where you're experiencing like 7.5 Gs. It's 1,500 pounds of, you know, pressure of force, and trying to do anything, even just trying to turn your head, honestly, is like really tough to do. And then you're trying to do all these story elements and, you know, character elements and stuff. So it was, I mean, yeah, it was really impressive what everybody was able to do.
So that's why you can't CGI that. You can't. Like whenever you guys watch it back home, you're gonna see that is something CGI cannot do. The texture of the actual air, the ripples of the skin, all that stuff is Tom knew that it was necessary in order to do a sequel that did it justice.
Highway to the
Danger zone.
Da-na-na-na. How does it feel, you know, this song Danger Zone? It's not only a song of Top Gun, it's a song that represents, you know, something cool, something, excuse me, but badass.
Right. It has a life of its own. And, you know, Danger Zone has been the score to a lot of different things, not just war scenes. And I think that it means an approach towards life, that exhilarating and going for it and being, you know, excited by what you're doing, living on the edge. And I think that's really the essence of what the song now is, outside of the format of the movie. Of course, the movie is going to put it back into that, you know, jet pilot thing, but it's bigger than that. We'll see what happens. I think we're very excited about the movie coming out, and finally, after all this time.
That's what I'm talking about.
Can I have one small request? One of the most iconic scenes in all movie history, in my opinion, is Maverick and Goose high five. Do you think we can do it in camera? Double high five. Thanks. Thank you.